I've been drinking. I've been drinking. They say if you had a little something in your cup, the truth comes out. And so I think it's fitting to do the unpopular opinion of the Kevin Hart roast. There is a review that I did before on the roast when it came out. When I hadn't talked about that, go ahead and take a ganda and take a peek and look and see, and let me know in the comments there, and then come back over this way, or just stay here, watch that, go there, and come back. But regardless what you do, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, comment for more. New channel. We're just trying to bring you into the family collectively. You see what I did there? And we talk about everything from television to film to independent films and indie. Like if you're an indie film creator and you want to send us something, If you're, got a favorite movie or something like that, put in the comments. Favorite comedian at this point, put that in the comments. So we're talking about the roast. I'll try to give my honest opinion. I just want to say, first off, I don't speak for anybody else on the Collective Critics crew. I say that for legal reasons. I don't think I'm gonna say anything ridiculous, but just in case, you never know. What I will say, just kind of starting off, I got my notes all over the place for this. I am, and I'll say it with a shadow of a doubt, I am the funniest, most entertaining of the group, and I say that proudly. I just enjoy making people laugh. I enjoy entertaining. I still enjoy sitting back and chilling. But if you're around me enough, you'll know that I could deliver a nice joke. I can follow it up. I could dish it. I can take it. And there's something competitive about it if you're in a kind of in the mood to roast or kind of go through something. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not back in my younger days, and so I might have missed a step, but I like to think I'm a legend in my own right mind. So with that being said, let me kind of give you the resume of what I feel these are comedians that make me laugh. Okay. So if you're sitting there like, well, someone's like, well, I like this and I like that. And you don't like the roast, or you do, or you think things are too much. And then you ask, hey, what's funny to you? And they're like, and you're like, you just don't get it. So I'm going to try to go back and forth, but you'll see what I'm doing here. No particular order for any of these. Again, it's just how I have my notes set up. George Garland, Robin Williams, Steve Martin Short, Jerry Seinfeld, CK, say what you want, Bill Burr, Norm Macdonald, and Ricky G from across the pond. Those are just some of the names in my head, right? I'm not done yet. I got multiple lists. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Martin Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Bernie motherfucking Mac, Cat Williams, Cedric the Entertainer, Cheryl, Wanda Sykes, John Witherspoon. Go check John Withers. Jamie Foxx, hilarious. Tommy Davidson, Red Fox, Earthquake, Monique, Sinbad. Oh, Sinbad had a comic thing. Anyways, I shouldn't have been watching shit as a kid, but my dad was really big on comics and watching them. Bill Cosby, Steve Harvey. I'm not going to be able to name everybody. I'm really not going to be able to name everybody, but I enjoy comics who tell a story. I enjoy comics new and old. I enjoy comics in general that just make you forget whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and they're able to pull in real life stuff. And the biggest thing about a comedian that I just love is the ability for free motherfucking speech. So starting off with this, the roast has been around since Adam and Eve. Okay, why do I say that Adam and Eve? The reason why I say that is, at some point, if you think about the story with Adam and Eve, there had to be a moment. There had to be a moment where Adam was like, damn it, Eve. Like, what do you have to what do you have to say? Get it off your chest. And so Eve might have said some shit like, well, if you're a real man, you'd never let me talk to that fucking serpent. Now you done fucked everything up. Oh, I fucked everything up? We had it all. Yours was up here. We were walking around this garden doing what we were doing, living. I mean, I gave you a part of me to make you. I mean, I didn't do it, but I suggested it. And this is how you repay me? We had one fucking rule. And I never should have fucking listened. I knew it. I talked to the fucking deer and the dodo bird, the fucking dodo bird and the passenger pigeons. They told me, don't fuck with you. I did anyway. And here we go. And now you're talking about we got Cain and Abel, and you think we gonna raise them up. Like, point blank, the roast and roasting individuals has been around since pimping. It's just what it is. Now, the things I will say is I noticed, and again, I'm going to go to my notes back and forth, only because of what, and I'm not going to say majority of people, enough people where it made the news, where there had to be that picture, you probably seen it, where it shows the writers, and they're like, they're all white. I feel like that was a negative. Again, you have Kevin Hart, African-American or black, if you didn't know that. And the writers, and here's the thing with the roast. The roast has been around since the Rat Pack days, and then some. I just told you that, right? All ages participate in a roast, whether you want to or not. You may be roasted and don't even know it. Think about it. You'll be at work, you'll leave the cubicle, do whatever you're going to do. And like, hey, you believe, blah, blah, and they're roasting you. You're just not there for it. That's all it is. So that picture went out and it seems like the writers were all white. Now, I'm not saying that they are. That's why I said it seems like, because there are more than that group of writers that was there. You may have individual writers for certain people. For instance, Cheryl probably wrote her own or had her own team. The Rock, maybe his own team. Kevin normally has his own team. So you have different writers, but because of the feel of it, the conversation is this. And I think if that is the case, and I'm assuming Kevin's in charge, respectfully, I don't know that man, but you're telling me you don't balance that out with writers that are going to understand the room or understand the tone or the flow or what you're trying to do, what you're trying to convey to the audience. If you're just there to be roasted, I guess that's something different. But then again, having that image out or whatnot, I just, whatever. Two guys doing it. Shane, who's got a show called Tires, I think it's in the second season on Netflix, which is hilarious. He's funny. I don't know. I get how maybe it's not funny to you, but he's funny. He has a certain type of comedy and he does that. That's what he does. I feel like nobody was saying anything where you had Jeff Foxworthy, where he's like, he had a certain punchline, which I can't think of it right now. And then you had Larry, who was with him, if I'm saying his name right. You had certain types of comics that felt like they were for a certain audience. It didn't take away the fact that they're fucking funny. I just don't understand how it's hard to do that. Like, now, if you're saying some stuff out of your heart or in your act, and it's negative to draw a negative emotion, then it's different. You're not being a comedic presence in that sense. You just have a microphone and you're saying venomous stuff, and that's something different. But again, those two individuals, Shane and the other guy, that's what they do. So you invite them into your show, and I don't mean that's what they do roasting. They're going to roast you more than the angle of political or religion. They're going to roast you based off of your culture, the color of your skin. Like, this is what they do. So again, I don't understand. Like, as soon as I said hosted by, like, hey, get ready for it. Get ready for this fucking show, because I already know what it's going to be. And that's just what it is. The other thing that I would say, Kevin, I could be wrong. Kevin was a part of supporting Floyd in the passing and everything that happened there. And I believe these jokes are approved. What we get a chance to see, what gets a chance to be said, and you're okay with that. Now, it's not for me to say what's funny and what's not funny. Because if it wasn't funny to you, then fuck it, like, that's you. But other people laughed. I just think it's hypocritical to be like, hey, I'm going to be there and support someone who's passed away for whatever the reason is. I'm not here to get into that. But I'm going to be okay with making a joke about said passing person. And it wasn't the only person that was mentioned in passing. Peace David's dad was mentioned multiple times. And it's not the first time when he's at a scene and somebody mentions his dad in that way. And Cheryl, that was mentioned for her husband multiple times. But I just feel like that's hypocritical. Kevin had a thing where he was like, he'll say a zinger, and he's like, hit it, bam, and he would do the sound effect. I felt like I heard that somewhere else. I don't know where, but take that however you want. When people are like, well, that's what you do, that's how you roast, there's two roasts I want you to go ahead and watch when you get the chance. One is the Flavor Flav roast. Katz mentioned before how he said how the writers work and how it's one-sided and they're going to make a mockery of them. And, I believe you want to get a check and I can't be mad at it. We all wake up and do what we got to do. But take a listen to that one, right? Then go and check out the roast of Justin Bieber. Now, the reason why that one is special, in my opinion, is that roast was Kevin Hart was there. And there's multiple times they went at him. Now, if you didn't know how a roast works, in most cases, it's a little bit of everything, whether it's your family, friends, coworkers, whatever the case is, and they're there and nothing is off limits. Okay. So Kevin's there and they go after him multiple times. I could be wrong. I just recently watched it. I could be wrong. They do not use the same racial tones with the lynching of the bonsai tree. Like you're not hearing that edge of the sword. And the jokes are still fucking funny. And they're still roasting him. They're talking about his married life. They're talking about, instead of him going down on a woman, he's got to go up on a woman. Like I said, go check out that roast. It was a really good roast. I enjoyed that one. Like I enjoyed the Tom Brady one. But I just felt like, feel how you feel about the roast. The roast is done. You either enjoyed it or you didn't. He had a choice. And he chose those individuals. He chose those jokes. He laughed at those jokes. He could have turned Will Smith up there as far as meme mugging. I don't mean violence or anything like that. Now, here's some comedians that I honestly would have loved to have on the show and have them have time. I felt like Kat had a really good amount of time, but I would have loved to have I'm just coming up with something. I'm not trying to change nothing. I'm just a different perspective on a different timeline. I'm not pulling no pieces out. I'm just think of it this way. If it was hosted by Ryan Davis, I don't know if you checked out Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis has been doing it for a while, but I feel like he's right there as far as that new. I don't know why he's not on TV doing movies, maybe the independent thing or something, but he's popular. If you haven't heard about him, Ryan Davis, Little Ray, Trevor Noah. I thought Josh Johnson, who I've been watching on social media, big ups to him. He's out there doing stuff. I love his storytelling style of joking. Reminds me of Chappelle or Bill Cosby or even Richard Pryor. The ability to tell a story and then hit him with something. Jerry Seinfeld does that. Tell a story and then you kind of get them on that whole idea of the punchline at the end. Mike Epps, Chris Tucker. I thought it was suspicious. You didn't have, Eddie. You didn't have Martin there. You didn't have Dave Chappelle there. You didn't have Jamie Foxx there. Ali, if I'm saying his name correctly, he's independent. He's been doing stuff really he's been doing it for a while, but I think the last 5 or 6 years, you can see a lot of his specials blowing up on YouTube. Nikki Glaser, she will fucking filet mignon roast you and let you sit out there and rest like a good steak and then come back and finish it off. No butterfly cut needed. And she does it in such a classy, sexy, sophisticated, just a way like, hey, I'm good at what I do, whether it's her or her team. I don't give a fuck. She's doing it. Nate Jackson, I saw him in Good Fortune, social media before COVID. And then I'm glad to see him blowing up and he needs to be on television and doing stuff. Godfrey is another one that I thought of. Who else? Ron Taylor, which won. I think there was a funny ass, I think it's on Netflix. He won that one. And maybe I missed it. I felt like he should have been on there. That was just Tracy Morgan is another one that I thought of. So I'm trying to think, is there anybody else I'm missing? Going back, I had another note with this. Ryan Davis, I thought said a very interesting thing on a stand-up comedy thing he did a while back. But before I get in that, before I lose train of thought, there's another comedian. Her name is, oh man, I'm not gonna try to butcher her name. She's, I think one of her siblings, no, her mom or her dad, one of them is Chinese. I think the other one is Japanese. She has a special called Father right now on Hulu. I think she would have been great. She'll serve you the fuck up. If there's people in the audience that will like say something slick, heckle, and she'll go and she'll give them the business and she does it quick. And again, it's a gift to be ready to go ahead and give it back. But going back to what Ryan Davis said, the joke, I'm just paraphrasing. It was something along the lines of, hey, the N-word and things that are hurtful to certain people. If the N-word is so bad, why do you use the N-word? If the N-word is so bad and you don't think we should use it, you know who we is, or others should use it, why can you use it? And he says this line and he goes, well, that's funny that you asked that. When I say it, it's culture. It's a part of my culture. When you say it, it's racist. And there's a certain underlining tone with it because you see it on social media, you see it in movies. Think about Sidney Poitier. I think it's in The Heat of the Night. A guy comes at him sideways and he slaps the fuck out of this guy. You have to realize you did not have that back in those days. And he slapped the fuck out of this guy, no hesitation. And what did they do? Literally like the next year or two, they dropped another movie to try to balance shit out, I guess. And people could say stuff election wise, but you know, I digress. What I will say is, I thought it was telling for that joke that he said. He was like, hey, you know, that's just how it is, man, you know? And just saying that on top of that joke, he was talking again to the audience that he felt represented him. And he's like, that's just what it is. And sometimes you don't understand. And it's something, and that's why I love the free speech of it. So in closing, hey, unpopular opinion, the Kevin Hart roast. Did he cook himself? I kind of think he did a little bit. I kind of think he did. Time will tell. But a lot of people, you know, will say, like, is Kevin Hart's movies still hitting like they were? Is his stand-up still selling, you know, the way it is, or streaming the way it is? Competition's getting better. A lot of people from social media are coming up and they're getting that same love. Like I mentioned Ali earlier, it almost seems like he's homegrown, but he hasn't. He found a way to do something. I think there was a story where he said he did a special on Comedy Central. He reposted it on his social media. Comedy Central went ahead and hit him with a ban or something, like infringement, like, you're not allowed to use this. And he reached out to him like, hey, I'm sorry, it's there's a confusion. I think y'all shut my down. That's me on there. That's me on your show. You paid me to do that. And they're like, yeah, but he felt like you own me. And he's like, no, we ain't doing that again. And he's been independent ever since, and he's been making money. And so that's just like a dynamic where it's like, I don't know. Like I said, comedy, I hope comedy's around for the rest of the world. You know, comedy and music is some of the most important things that we need in this world. Not just love, don't get me wrong, but again, the ability to speak your mind freely. You may not agree. If you checked out this video, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, comment for more. I appreciate you being here. You may not agree on what I'm saying. And that's the thing I love, especially about this country, America, that we live in, and just the ability to have a conversation respectfully and be like, yo, I just don't agree with that. Or you know what? I agree to some of it, but not all of it. And it was cool to listen to it respectfully. But as far as Kevin Hart, and don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Hart. I like the movies. The opportunity that he has, and I think, and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's looked out for other comedians, new and old. I'm pretty sure he's taken care of his people. I'm pretty sure he's taken care of people or done charity stuff and helped people in ways we don't know. Or we could see a documentary by 50 Cent 10 years from now. I don't know. So I'm gonna play the middle, right? But as of late, if I was a PR person, and I'm not, it just seems like, man, you're catering to a certain audience. You're trying to figure some stuff out. You got some movies that are lined up. You've hung out with Kai, one of the top streamers, and some other streamers at Drewski that you hooked up with. And that's a reason for that, because demographically, that's not the people who buy his movies. That's not the people who go to his shows. Those individuals are the kids of the parents like me. My son watches all those streamers that he cameoed on and made appearances. But I'm the one watching the Kevin Hart stuff. I'm the one sitting there saying, hey, he's hilarious. You know, help me. It's about to go down. Like, I'm the one telling my son, who's 18, who doesn't even really know who Kevin Hart is. So I just hope he hasn't alienated a certain part of the market, because soul playing and certain stuff, you don't get that without it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to think of something else that, like, Michael Jackson, in a way. You think about the Michael Jackson Dangerous album. If you haven't listened to Michael Jackson, it's not your thing. I get it. But he had an album, in my opinion, Dangerous. And that album was probably, could be wrong, Michael Jackson's blackest album. What I mean by that, I mean the beats, the producers, the sound, the storytelling that he was doing. And, you know, again, you had to remember the time on there. You had Jam was on there. So many songs that just the undertone of what it was, especially before you had History. But a lot of people will tell you that he didn't have the support of that community, the Black community, at a time that he needed it, when he was going through the legal stuff and he was going through the alienation in the US versus the other countries, because the other countries loved him, just not here. Now you fast forward, you have the movie out and it's #1 in box office again. And at the same time, you have people using Michael's music for memes and saying how cool it would be to have him, and AIing songs and slowing it down and stuff like that. I say that to say this with the Kevin Hart thing. Michael alienated a portion of his community, that he needed, and he didn't get a chance to see that love and get his flowers back later. So again, you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here listening to this guy who's just talking about stuff. So until next time.